Here are the 10 cheapest countries to visit for those of you who are a budget traveler, a backpacker, or simply looking for a way to save more money while traveling the world. Thailand. Thailand is one of the cheapest countries to travel to, but that doesn't mean much if it isn't backed up with an abundance of beautiful tourist attractions travelers can visit, from the high mountains of northern Thailand to the beaches and islands of southern Thailand. If you are looking for a cheap country to visit that has it all from great and cheap food and accommodation to the tropical climate and stunning sceneries, you can never go wrong with Thailand. Indonesia. Indonesia, the largest archipelagic state in the world consisting of over 17,000 islands, is one of the most diverse countries in Southeast Asia. With so many islands, full of remote forests and volcanoes, each with different cultures and languages, Indonesia is one of the best countries to visit in the world. From hiking Mount Rinjani to swimming with manta rays around the Komodo Islands, there are countless things you can do here. Java, the main island of Indonesia, is home to some stunning temples like Borobudur and Prambanan, and it is still considerably cheap to visit. Bali, even though it is becoming more and more expensive every day due to the number of tourists flocking the place each year, there are still many pockets of places on the Hindu island where you can still find cheap places to eat and do things. For those looking for the ultimate adventure in Indonesia, Flores and the Komodo Islands offer a great place to visit that is relatively off the beaten path and still very affordable, especially when you go out of the tourist cities like Labuan Bajo. All in all, Indonesia is one of the cheapest countries to visit in the world that offer so many things to do and places to see for very little money, and so if you are looking to save some money without sacrificing your experience, Indonesia is the place to be. 3. Vietnam. Vietnam is another great and cheap travel destination in Southeast Asia that offers a unique experience and an abundance of things to do without breaking the bank. The diversity of sceneries and cultures emboldened by its rich history and dark past are some of the main draws for travelers to visit Vietnam. From the dreamy landscape of Halong Bay to the mighty Mekong Delta, there is no shortage of things to do here. For famous menus like pho, sao lao, and banh mi, it should cost you around 36,000 Vietnamese dongs or $1.50 per dish. Combine that with the cheap accommodation, the well-rounded tourist infrastructure, and the diverse landscapes, you have yourself one of the cheapest countries in the world that you should definitely not miss when you are traveling in Southeast Asia. 4. Colombia. From the outside, Colombia might not seem like as cheap of a country to visit, but if you look deeper and spend some more time here, you will find that the food, accommodations, and things to do in Colombia are actually very affordable and sometimes cheaper than most places. The food in places like Medellin and Bogotá usually cost around $2.50 per meal, which is pretty cheap already, but if you go for the menú del día, or menu of the day, which you can often find in most restaurants, you can get it for as low as 6,000 kop or $1.50, almost the same price as food in Southeast Asia. Combine that with all the cool things you can do in Colombia, like attend a free salsa dance workshop in Medellin or go hiking in Cocora Valley in Salento, Colombia definitely deserves a spot on this list. Peru. If I have to pick my favorite country in South America, it has got to be Peru. With all the amazing things you can do in Peru, from visiting the famous wonder of the world, Machu Picchu, to hiking around the Andes Mountains in Huaraz and Cusco, you can easily see why I chose Peru as my favorite country. When it comes to tourist attractions, Peru is definitely one of the best countries in the world. It has a rich Mayan history, the stunning Andes mountain range that offers an infinite number of adventures one can do, and hands down the best cuisine in South America. With the food costing around $2.50 per meal and accommodation costing as low as $7 per night, you can travel around Peru for as little as $15 per day. Combine that with the low cost of living and you have yourself one of the cheapest and best countries for you to visit. Peru is also one of the cheapest places to go high-altitude mountaineering, only second to Nepal, due to its proximity to the Andes and the higher average elevation of the country. So if you are looking for a cheap place to go on an adventure or learn basic mountaineering, Peru is a great place to do so. Albania. It is a place where you will find stunning mountains like the Albanian Alps, rich history like the towns of Berat and Gjirokastër, and stunning beaches like in the Albanian Riviera. Albania is still one of the few hidden gems in Europe that are both beautiful, as well as affordable to travel in. With the food costing around $5 per meal and accommodation costing as low as $9 per night, Albania is one of the cheapest and most beautiful countries to visit in Europe, and if you are looking for a cheap place to travel in Europe that has everything and half the price, this is the place to be. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is another great country to visit for those of you who are looking to travel to exotic places on a budget. Sri Lanka is full of interesting tourist attractions and things to do. It has a rich and interesting history deep-rooted in Buddhism, and there are several amazing sites like the ancient city of Polonnaruwa, the Temple of the Tooth in Kandy, and the most famous of all, the Lion Rock of Sigiriya waiting for you to explore. Accommodations are cheap as well in Sri Lanka, with a private room costing around $16 per night and a hostel costing only $6 per bunk bed. Food in Sri Lanka should also cost no more than $1.50 per meal, and transportation in Sri Lanka, with its vast networks of railways across the country, should also allow you to easily and cheaply move around the country. Turkey. Turkey is usually not a country you often see listed on a cheapest countries to visit list like this, and I am not sure why that is the case, as from my experience traveling from west to east, Turkey is probably one of the cheapest countries to visit in the Middle East that also offer so many awesome things to do and so many beautiful places to see. On average, you can expect to spend around $30 per day minimum, with $12 for one night accommodation and around $3 for a decent meal in Turkey. The country is also connected by an extensive bus network, with several companies like Metro and Ulusoy offering comfortable rides across the country at affordable prices. When it comes to tourist attractions, there is also an abundance of interesting sights to see and awesome things to do across the country, from visiting the beautiful remote Armenian ancient city of Ani in Kars to hiking the Butterfly Valley and camping in Fethai, or even better, hiking the Lycian Trail, one of the most beautiful long-distance trek in the world. As you can see, Turkey is not as expensive as people make it to be. You can travel far and wide without spending very much, and with so many things to do in the country, you are definitely going to get your money worth here. 9. Georgia. Georgia is one of my favorite countries in the Caucasus, and it is one of the cheapest countries to visit in the region. Traveling in Georgia, to my surprise, was even cheaper than traveling in Turkey, and there are quite a lot of things you can do that you can't do anywhere else in the region. For one, Georgia has one of the best cuisines in the world, with dishes like khachapuri and hinkali spreading across big cities in Europe and beyond. When it comes to tourist attractions, Georgia is also home to the hipster city of Tbilisi that is becoming more and more popular among backpackers, and there is no shortage of cozy cafes and bars with great vibes for you to explore. For nature lovers, Kazbegi also offers a great place for you to escape the bustling capital city and immerse yourself in the stunning beauty of the Caucasus mountain range. You can spend as little as $15 per day in Georgia, with the food costing around $2 per meal and accommodation costing as low as $6 per night in a hostel. Despite its small size, Georgia offers quite a variety of things you can do, from visiting cool historical sites to hiking in the mountains, and combine that with the low price of accommodation, food, and transportation. Georgia definitely deserves a spot on this list. 10. Nepal. Last but not least is Nepal, a small country nestled in between the mighty Himalayan mountain range in South Asia that offer a ton of opportunity for nature lovers and hikers to explore the highest mountain range in the world on foot for cheap. If you are not into hiking, cities like Kathmandu and Pokhara can offer you a ton of things to do for cheap, like the famous Durbar Square, which you can visit for free, or rolling a boat out onto Pokhara Lake for only a few dollars. Food in Nepal can cost as low as $1.50 per meal, while you can find accommodation as low as $6 per night in a hostel. It is cheaper than most countries around the world and offers a view that you can't get anywhere else. That, for me, puts Nepal among the cheapest and the very best countries to visit in the world. What do you think of these countries? Are you planning a round-the-world trip soon and have questions about these cheap countries? If so, do not hesitate to ask me in the comments.